think we are good. Feck yeah. Alright. In the words of Frederick Durst, we appear to be rolling. What? And J-Post, the first is yours. Chaunerus, Megaboss, Watto and welcome. Hello, hello. Oh, got my emails all done. I'm caught up. The animals are all sorted. I'm feeling very productive. How are you all doing? I'm only mildly confused by the Everhood announcement, but was it Megaboss? Was it you found the? No, Legend found the thread from the devs. Once again, a very, very important example of why one needs to be very clear with comms. And Vanderbeest, head of House Order. Thank you kindly for filling the pint glass. Oh, how goes it, you lovely Mother Hubbards? So the Gamescom Keighley Spectacular has come and gone. There were some announcements and some non-announcements. The fact that a charming little cartoon game about a faux, like, northern British town is currently the talk of the town makes me very happy. Yeah, sorry, Wolfcrad. J-Post was on Quick Draw on that one. Oh, sorry, and Wraith, I didn't see you sandwiched between two sets of House Order. Watto and welcome, friends. How you doing? I am tired, not hungover, and I probably still got at least a day before I feel the full effects of last night's gig. But yeah, I went to go see Less Than Jake last night, and it was brilliant. That was my birthday gift from Fiona, and I also got given a Less Than Jake lanyard. So I'm very happy. It was literally the Hello Rockview tour. So they played their entirety of one of their most famous albums back to back, and then they did 6 encores, which were like a lovely grab bag of tunes. Caffeine, Watto and welcome. Wraith, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Oh. But yeah, no, I've been super productive this morning. And Zeke, Watto and welcome. Well, Fearless, it is definitely going to be time for Crab. It is not time for Shark, Zeke. Zeke. Sorry, I'm going to try not to be a space case today. I used a lot of brain power. Biggs, you know, at this point, I wouldn't even be surprised. I genuinely talked once about, like, smut and community engagement in an interview. It was mostly a lot of talking points from, if you remember, Flourish, who joined us for an interview 1,000 years ago. Mostly a lot of that. And of course, now that I've finished doing all the boring stuff, now my hands start hurting. Love it. Love that for me. Okay, wow. I have more coffee. I'm not going to be a space case all day. But Biggs, thank you for sharing that. Zeke, if you have to trundle off quiet, then I hope you have a lovely day at work. I'm just going to say that now. There's so much to talk about today, games industry-wise. As I said, Gamescom is fully under swing. It has been for a day and change, but today was the Keighley Gamescom Spectacular, which better structure than last time. A lot more in the way of announcements and nonsense. Oh, God. Phyllis, we may have to come back to that one. I've always, I don't know, I've always used this overlay as kind of our standard colours, you know. So we've got that nice water blue and the strong red. But I don't know, sometimes aesthetically you're not... The person at the epicenter isn't the best judge of. Okay. Oh wow, yeah, okay, I am spacey space case today. Alright. So the sheer amount of stuff that has happened, okay. I didn't realise Fight Crab was getting a direct sequel, and we found out today that direct sequel is going to involve humans, which you fight in the same vein as like Shadow of the Colossus, and I'm very okay with that.
CA core, BH less than 3.
Core. Itch. Geographic, thank you, Connie, for the bits. How are you doing? God, there's been so much happening at once. As I said yesterday in Block Capitals, why won't you let me sleep? Like, where do we even start? The gentleman who's been voicing Mario for the past few years is stepping down, but will be staying at Nintendo as an ambassador. Vampire Survivors DLC is on the way, and I'm never going to get to sleep again. Luck Be a Landlord has been banned in 13 countries because it's been flagged as a gambling game. It isn't. It is a game where the slot machine is the main mechanic, but there's no money that goes in or out. Oh, Captain Stephanie Barnes and Ralph Valkyrie Watto, and welcome! Sorry, proper introductions. Oh, Wolfguard, I also had no idea the Gamescom presentation was today, but it was on European time, so like, that's peak decaffeinated will hours. Let's see. Whisker Squadron Survivor is out. If you enjoyed Chase the Sun, you need that game in your life. I've played. How much have I played of it? I played a few hours, and it's so much fun. Oh no, so it feels like... Absolutely. If you've not encountered Gamescom as an event before, it is massive. Like, an order of magnitude larger than, like, E3 ever was, and things like that. And it sits at a really interesting time in the year as, like... In the past, like, August was kind of like the downtime before people would start ramping up towards launch and things like that. These days, I mean, this is August has been one of the busiest months this whole freaking year, and it does not look like anything is settling down. But Gamescom is usually rife with info, hands-on, news, etc. So I've got to stop spacing out. I'm so sorry, friends. I think you all saw it, but El Paso Elsewhere did their villain trailer yesterday, which is very good. That's going to be releasing on September 26th, which hopefully is long enough after the whole, like, Armored Core, Starfield double threat, but, like, 20 days is a long time in the games industry, but who knows? Fingers crossed. Big Mode, Video Game Donkey's publishing wing, did the State of 2023.
Sep 26 is the new CP2077 DLC.
Is it? Oh god. Alright, well we're definitely going to need to back up Zalavir. So, wishlist it, buy it on day one, and we'll bring the thunder. Oh yeah, Wraith, I saw that Zalavir has added the soundtrack to El Paso Elsewhere added to Beat Saber already. And Wraith, you know what, we'll get to that in a second. So yeah, hang on, let me just grab you all the link for El Paso Elsewhere, because it's gonna feckin' slap. Do you know what's real funny is a friend of mine was doing a late night playthrough of Hypnospace Outlaw, and I was guiding him to the tracks that Zalavir did for that. For those of you who don't know the behind the scenes, Zalavir was a writer on Hypnospace Outlaw, and put forward a couple of they were supposed to be like hidden demo songs that you're meant to find in the late game, and he sent through like a proof of concept, like not a song per se, but like here's what someone should try to make, and they just left his rough draft in. It's very funny. And I feel like now with El Paso Elsewhere, he's actually getting to put down some beats, some rhymes. He's very good at it. Hey, Angel Kalina, obviously your body needed it, and I hope you're feeling good, friend. Yeah, at this point, I don't think I haven't told you all repeatedly about El Paso Elsewhere, but it's so fucking good. Okay, so yeah, so if you're wondering what we're talking about with the Big Mode memo, Video Game Donkey put out their, like, State of the Games 2023, and yeah. I sincerely hope that Animal Well sells well, because it looks fascinating. But I would not want to have to interface with that individual in a professional capacity. And that's the polite way of putting it. If you didn't see the video, it's up in the game news section. We can repost it in Videodrome, but like, the video games industry doesn't have tall poppy syndrome per se. We're quite okay with people that have like a bit of a boisterous ego on them. You know, admittedly, named characters do tend to get torn down, but the long and short of it being, like, you know, we don't mind the Romeros, the Hideo Kojimas, and the Molyneux. But there's something about seeing someone try and present themselves with the same weight that I found myself being very, very, very annoyed at. Because, okay, when Mr. Metal Gear Kojima announced his new studio, and they did a huge reveal of their mascot character, which was like a space skeleton, and they then released like a collectible figure and a model kit based around Space Skeleton, there was a certain part of me that just went, really? But then again, if you've been making games for 30 years, you know, games that have shaped and affected the industry in its entirety, you know what? You're allowed to do that. But if you are a video YouTubesman, known most notably for being, like, whimsically mean to video games, and you open a publishing wing, yeah. It's going to be interesting to see how that all pans out. But again, the only title that Big Mode are currently openly super attached to is a game called Animal Well, and this is definitely one of those, you know, we will not let the child suffer for the sins of the father. If you have a look at Animal Well, it looks genuinely brilliant. Like, incredibly smart use of some pixel art techniques.
That space skeleton was dope and was never seen from again. Also, Big Mode got another game under their belt.
Oh, they did. Oh, hang on. Let me try and remember what it is that their other one was. Oh, Kimball, Watto, and welcome. Not to be weird, because I can't tell you the specifics, but I was showing off one of your Gundams today to someone who's very cool. But I can't be specific just yet. Gear Graphic, you're gonna have to remind me, because there was another title, but it definitely was not enough to stick in the head. Oh, the other one's just a Switch port of Monolith. Okay. And Kimball, like, so long as you have fun making it, it absolutely cannot be a letdown. God, this thing is hard to find on Steam. Ooh, lovely. As I said to Kimball, I haven't had the chance to start on mine, and I'm genuinely considering getting some of the modeling clay. I want to try and create something to make the sniper rifle look ridiculous. Okay. Sorry, Wraith was saying that, alright, so Big Mode is handling, so they renamed Monolith to Star of Providence, and Big Mode is handling the Switch port. Okay. So here's the question, friends. Do I just give up on Dinobot again? Because, like, I've been in the guts of it. It should be kicking off. I do not know why it's being a grumpy crumbum. Hello, Flumpy boy. Amos has come to flump and accompany. A flumpany, if you will.
Dinobot makes me ask why no bot.
And Wolfcrowd and everybody, sorry. Thank you for the bids. I know I'm being very slow moving today. Brain goes smooth. Brain goes slow. Alright, I'm going to give it another 10 minutes, and then we'll let everybody else know we're live. My only worry, of course, is that people will get hit with 2 at everyone's, and I try and avoid that at the absolute peak that I can. Ooh. But yeah, once again, every time I see any of the big head mode or big mode videos, it leaves a really bad taste in my mouth. Like, I can't always extrapolate why, but as I said, I hope the titles that they're working with, like, do well because of it. So as we continue down, I guess the big news is, God, so the ABK acquisition is going to continue to go ahead, and the revised offer to the UK regulatory board that blocked it initially, they're going to sell the streaming. Now, I want to make sure I'm straight. I want to make sure I am saying this correctly because it's a little bit wild. I want to make sure I'm using the correct verbiage here, but like... So... Okay, the European Commission... oh no, hang on, that is a... Okay, so yeah, the UK one is the Competition and Markets Authority. And to try and appease them, Activision Blizz will sell the streaming rights to Ubisoft for their games. So, for streamed gaming, it will go through Ubisoft, and that's how they're gonna apparently appease... if you've missed the run-up to this, the UK regulatory body blocked the ActiBliz acquisition, but they blocked it on a very specific thing, which was the lack of competition in the streaming space. Not streaming as in, hello, me as your tiny Tamagotchi in a box, but streaming as in, like, streamed video gaming. It was a weird thing to stop up the operations. And Halo Jinx, Watto and welcome. You did not get dethroned, but in fairness, Ehrman waited until I had the streaming software closed, so that didn't hit you like head on. But it's so weird. Like, in a strange way, I think the CMA is trying to genuinely just block the acquisition, and the cloud gaming was such a nebulous way to keep it from progressing too quickly. But it could also be that someone on the regulatory body has a deeply misunderstood concept of how valuable streaming tech is going to be. I mean, we've talked about this a lot. Streaming video games is awesome, The idea of being able to play incredible video games with limited hardware, wonderful, lovely, sign me up. So far, no one has been able to make it make business sense, aside from the NVIDIA GeForce, but that was more like virtual machines from your own library, you know. Stadia might have been able to if it wasn't, you know, typical Google mishandling, but and significant, you're not wrong. Like, it's this weird thing of, I'm not pro mass conglomerate absorbing all of video games. I don't think that's a good or a healthy place to be. But I also know sometimes you can't stop the signal, and this may be one of those situations. So I've already come to terms with the fact that Microsoft is going to do anything to acquire ABK, and all I can do is just quietly hope that it will be a positive force for good for the people actually working at, you know, Activision and Blizzard and those studios. Like I said, we're never going to get a situation where we get to see Bobby Ballbag tarred and feathered and dragged through the street. In fact, whatever happens, he's walking away from this stinkingly rich. But aside from finding out where he lives and shitting in his mailbox, there isn't really a lot we can do. So mad. So mad. I know I don't look mad, it's because I'm very tired. Anyway. This isn't really a huge thing, but it's interesting to see how this is all going down, and that Ubisoft being able to be the go-to platform for streamed versions of Call of Duty isn't a dumb deal on their part. So, we'll see how it comes together. Yeah, Wraith, I think you're right. Because of the two, like, the using cloud gaming as a way to stop this acquisition from going through, or a misunderstanding of how streamed games and cloud gaming is going to progress. Unfortunately, it's like, it's Occam's white guy. Like, anytime you have to have these conversations about regulatory bodies and technology, you just have to imagine the kind of person who's going to be across the table from you, and it's a crusty old white guy. Not known for their grand command of technology. As I said, for the rest of game news, we have Fightcraft 2, which I'm very excited for. There was yet another instance of someone rushing the stage during the Gamescom Keighley Fest. Like, the fact that they don't have any kind of security, or at least not decent security, after this happened before. Aw, Legend, you're not crusty old white guy. You hang out with a squad of rainbow flag wielding numpties. You are no more a crusty old white guy than Sir Patrick Stewart. But yeah, I do like Occam's white guy. It's like, you know, never assume intellectual scheming when there is an old crusty white guy involved. Fearless got to drop the news. Age of Empires 4, the title that Fearless works on.
Your beard is pointy, just wanted to note that.
Yeah, I spotted that when I sat down. This wasn't intentional. I didn't plan on having this whole, like, fucking, you know, Disney villain point. I mean, Campbell, if you wish to have the powers of an old crusty white guy, like, I will teach you the ways of unearned audacity. But yeah, that's kind of the long and short of it, video game news-wise. There's been a little bit of confusion in terms of like when Armored Core 6 is dropping. It is releasing at 4 p.m. on Thursday Pacific. Different regions will be having different launch times, so if you are a mech pilot or a mech pilot in training... Oh, you're right, Jam, you're right. My apologies, you're correct. That Audacity was purchased by the aforementioned parents. Oh, and significant, that sounds lovely. Thankfully, the air quality is way better today in Seattle, so we've been able to have the door open. There was a bit of rain this morning, I reckon, or something, but it's lovely. It doesn't smell like bad barbecue outside. Last few days have been quite a bit. Oh shit, we haven't talked since my birthday. Fuck, I got stories. So again, to everybody that put up with me drunk as a skunk in the birthday after party, I want to say thank you. And I had a lovely time. Absolutely wailing on... what was his feckin' name? Not Phil Spencer, we like Phil Spencer. PlayStation Phil. To Agent John, I am now 38. I had to think about it for a second there, because I'm very tired. Legend, I'm really glad you're enjoying the Memnol VODs. I mean, Wraith, it's no worry. It wasn't as... like, the after party wasn't as rowdy as some of our previous, like, long shippy and late nights. I think we've all got, like, a level of exhaustion this year, you know? But what I did is I made everybody watch the Sony E3 2006 press conference, the famous Ridge Racer! And yeah, Phil Harrison just hating the fact that he has to be there. There's one moment which I'd completely forgotten about, which I'm so glad we replayed, which is where Phil goes over to weird, spiky machine corner to play a single hand of like Eye of Judgment, the iToys CCG that came out with the PS3. He puts down one card, kind of taps it, and then he doesn't even acknowledge. He just walks away like he's done with it. Oh, you know what, Agent John? That is a lovely question. I think that if I sat down little 18-year-old me and showed him my life now, I think he'd be real proud of that. I just can't tell him that the path to get from where he is to here is a messy one, involving several monstrous fuck-ups. I mean, what is my life right now? I stream during the day, and I'm a shaman of games industry knowledge by night. Yes, currently my life is ruled by 2 dogs, and I love them dearly. I get bullied by guinea pigs. I gave up on 40k, but I embraced the Gandams, you know? I can drink enough to kill an elephant. My sleep pattern still sucks, and I gave up on skateboarding after I shattered my ankle. Yeah. Oh, 18-year-old me. Oh, you're in for some pain. At Legend... okay, that's a very good point. I facilitated the means by which the guinea pigs do bully me. But... but yeah. I think that's a...
Will, video game shaman, fueled by sandwiches.
I do like sandwiches! I think it's one of the best things that the American populace understands, is a sandwich is not a sad boots meal deal. It is not a tragic replacement. A sandwich is a thing to be celebrated. It is a meal in its brilliance. And gear, and everybody, like, thank you for the bits, you know? I wasn't completely sensible with everything that you all threw in on my birthday. As we went to go see Less Than Jake last night, I did treat myself. to a little bit of a late night, not quite negative breakfast, because it was closer to like midnight-ish. But so just as an FYI, friends, I had my mask on for most of the gig until it got knocked off in the pit. So I am going to assume that I have been exposed, and I'm going to be testing over the next couple of days. So for those of you in the real, if I don't want to hang out, please don't take that personally. I just don't want to like accidentally be like the plague vector, you know? Because I was being sensible and I was being sensible, and then my mask got knocked off and I was like, beans. The gig we went to last night was Less Than Jake. It was very, very good. I'd never gotten to see Less Than Jake live, so despite them being a very, very large part of my life, you know, I have lifelong friendships I've made just by virtue of being a Less Than Jake fan. Oh, bleed Nora. Much like you just deleted one of those poor shamrocks. Here, fucking yo! Thank you. Fucking yo. Sorry, Gear Graphics. $30 to keeping the lights on, friend. Thank you. And cheers to you. And Pondius, you're not wrong. Like, there are good sandwich places in and around, but if you've ever been to Italy, like the baseline of like pasta and pizza that you can get in Italy, just like even the dodgy stuff that you get at the airport is just miles above what we get in other regions, especially like Europe. In the US, sandwiches are just a step up. And oh yeah, no, so Fearless, like, what is it today? Today's the 22nd. Like, I'm not gonna make any plans for if I test positive, but yeah, I did a cute little video for our, a cute little image for our PAX panel. I'm just waiting to see if it is approved by the rest of my little squad before I start sending it out. But the TLDR is that the Friday evening of PAX, 7 till 8 in the Monarch, I will be the Chaos Gremlin for Make a Game in an Hour. I'm so sorry, friends. Oh, heck yeah. Alright, I just put out the call to the rest of the longship because Dinobot's just lagging. Oh, yeah, friends, I do beg your forgiveness if I'm a little bit wavy-davy today, you know?
Reactor online, sensors online, weapons online, all systems nominal.
Greetings.
And to you, and Orion Pirate, thank you for 4 months, Laurel. How our time screams by so quickly. Yeah, Eraman, yeah, it might be time to send Dinobot to a happy little...
The longship, the one where Dinobot is sent to an ice park upstate.
Yeah. Sorry, Eraman, thank you for the bits. Wolfgrad, thank you for refilling the pint glass. And Agent John, yeah, thank you. Like, who knows? Who knows? Right now, I'm just at this point where, you know, I want to keep the longship going for as long as possible because I fucking love doing this, and I haven't really thought of anything beyond that. And what I was going to add, Legend, is Wavy Davy is Davy Jones as he's sinking. Wavy Davy. I can't carry a thought for more than 2 seconds. But God, it has been a wild feckin' weekend. So my birthday was lovely, and again, friends, I did not expect to have as much fun just doing 4 hours of marbles on stream as we did. That was excellent. The after party, I forgot to eat, so I got whoops drunk, whilst we heckled Sony from 2006. Remember, friends, it is always morally okay to heckle, like, C-suite or executives or what have you. They make stupid money. Like, it is not punching down to rip the piss out of a Sony executive. Just so we're clear on that one. Then yeah, I think we ended up just chatting shite until like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. So my Sunday was royally hungover. And then yesterday was wild. So I said I'd fill you all in on what happened. There we go. In my funky mix. Alright, so it's Monday morning, like, because of like a combination of hangover and nonsense, like, sleep has not been kind to me, right? Sorry, let me flip and reverse it. Basically, I just had one of those days where, like, my brain just wouldn't shut off for sleep. Happens to the best of us. So I'm just, you know, watching shite on the telly. I'm going through a weird solar opposites obsession again. Not with the main show, with The Wall. I mean, we can talk about that if you want to hear me go down on a fucking wild topic. That's not the story. So, you know that point where you kind of half in, half out sleep, and everything takes on a very surrealist quality. You're not quite sure what's going on. Well, I hear just like a fuckload of shouting. And again, I'm half in, I'm half out. I'm on the couch in my boxer shorts because I didn't want to wake Fiona up with telly when they had to be at work at like 5. Well, they had to be at work for 7, so... Anyway. Hear a whole world of shouting outside. And some guy yelling back like, "What's going on in there?" Turns out, like, one of my friendo neighbours, the person they live with had gone intercontinental ballistic. And it, like, a fight had just escalated to super bad times. And by the time I was, like, up, and I wasn't quite there, but I was moving. So I went down the balcony just to, like, see what was going down. And the dude was trying to steal our neighbour's dog. And it's fucking wild. Thankfully, like, the block as a whole had come out, and Matey Boy, realizing that he was being surrounded, like, relinquished the dog. And as our friendo was bringing it back, like, I could just see, like, the sheer amount of blood all over their face. Like, it was bad. Like, thankfully, the group that I colloquially refer to as the cool kids upstairs, they were, like, up and functioning, so, like, them and a bunch of other peeps, like, helped get the dog back. The dog is fine. The friendo is definitely, like, seen the wars, but, yeah. Anyway, he got carted off, so she'll be okay, but it was just that wildness of, like, Fiona had only left for work, like, half an hour, 20 minutes prior. So, like, I'd been partially awake just so I could be like, "Hello, goodbye, have a good day at work." Like a little couch dork. So it was just this weird surrealness. So Fearless, I think, just spite. Like, just bad, mean, bad guy being bad and mean. Anyway, like I said, the things got sorted, the dog was fine, and I don't think we'll be seeing that guy again. But it was just fucking wild. And from that, then finally managed to get my head down for a few hours, got the schedule up for you all, and then we all bundled off to go see Less Than Jake, so it was a wild day. Sorry, apologies for going into space myself. Come on, brain. We're trying to talk and hang out with people here. I played some more Bomb Rush Cyberpunk off stream. That game is incredible. If you like Jet Set Radio in any way, shape, or form, you need that in your life. I'm still mad that Sweeney has delisted Unreal Tournament Game of the Year edition. Could be a grumpy crumbum about that one. And also, friends, if you didn't see, I haven't put the Cursed Gambit VOD up because it needs stitching together, but also two, like, I was a mess that day. However, I will say that if you're wondering whether or not to grab that one, feckin' do it.
I missed the birthday stream,
Yo!
so I wanted to drop by and throw some confetti.
I mean, I guess in a technical sense, you took Wolfcrad's confetti and launched it into the outer orbit. But PVS, thank you kindly. You know, everyone was incredibly lovely on my birthday, and, you know, I wasn't expecting anything, and I had a feckin' great time, and it was great. And I'm really bad at doing people words right now, but thank you. That's, because yeah, no, PVS, that's $10 to keeping this whole thing going. So thank you. God, I was about to say, I've been really boring the last couple of days after telling you all my exciting stories. But, sorry. Yeah, all I've really done is played Whisker Squadron and a bit of Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. And slept. Air Dragon was just saying that their old job, it was their responsibility to tell C-suite peeps they did bad. Missed that part of their job more than anything. That must have been cathartic as all heck. Wolfcrad, thank you for reloading the confetti cannon. That's feckin' cool of you. God. That just sounds like one of those, like, lovely little, like... Oh, okay. Air Dragon was saying it was the icing on a particularly toxic cake. Or toxic job. Yeah. Oh, and Boo, Watto and welcome. Oh, damn it, Fearless, that's way funny. How dare, Fearless? How dare you come into my stream and be funnier than me on a Tuesday? It's totally not because I stayed up too late partying out to Less Than Jake. So, before we get started on video games and nonsense, hopefully my brain will wake up. So this week, here is the current plan, alright? So, we've got... Today we are playing Betrayer. Now, Betrayer is not a new game by any means. However, Betrayer went through some strange times. It's a exploration survival-y game. It's got this wonderful kind of like muted color palette into a black and white survival where you try and run away from red skeletons at night. But what's fascinating about this is that something is going on behind the scenes. So this got pulled from Steam. It is available on GOG for free. But you can no longer buy it? So I don't know what happened with like the licensing of this. Like... So like, here's the game available. And yes, Phyllis, this was put together by a team of like ex-AAA peeps. It is set in colonial Virginia in the 17th century, and has like big one-pop, one-shot type muskets and whatnot. But what's weird is, okay, according to the reports, it was removed from Steam at the request of the publisher. But so far as Steam says, it is a self-published game. So, like, wait? Like, what? Wait? You know what I mean? Oh yeah, specifically it was put together by a team who came from Monolith Productions. So the peeps that worked on Fear, No One Lives Forever, and Shogun Mobile Armor Division. But yeah, no, so Jam, it's still available on GOG. But yeah, no, I haven't been able to find anything specifically about what happened and why Betrayer has this weird licensing setup. Now, this is a thing we can research and look into to get today together. I mean, according to Moby Games, like, Betrayer is the only... Betrayer is the only game that they have put out. And as it currently stands, their main website is just... like guides and articles. So yeah, I have no idea what's going on there. And you know how I get when I find something in the industry that I don't understand? Like, Once my brain starts being like, ooh, what's this? So, that's what we're doing today. A combination of investigating Betrayer and playing it. So for the rest of the week, tomorrow, we're going to continue with the Artificer, with Murder-Splosion-y Murder. We're not too far off of visiting Pebs, if I remember correctly. And we're going to kill so many things, it's going to be amazing. Yeah, we're playvestigating. Now, Thursday is Armored Core 6. I will be playing that the moment it goes live, which will be 3 PM Pacific, so around about this time on Thursday. I might try and go live and chat with you all a little bit beforehand, but we'll see how, like, download speeds and things are. Expect that to be a binge of a stream. It's going to be glorious. But, I was under the impression it was dropping on Friday. So, here's what I am thinking, friends. Here's what I'm thinking. We go hard on Thursday. We take a breather on Friday, maybe a little bit of Armored Core in the morning, and then some Sea of Thieves Friday night. And then Saturday is basically like Mech Garage Day. See, Armored Core 6 is structured in more like a traditional video game. You choose your level, you build your mech, you go for it, there are checkpoints, the whole shebang. So it's pretty easy for us to work out, like, where we are in terms of content, and that'll allow me to update the title of the stream so you'll know which mission we're doing at, like, what point. It also means that I'll be able to, like, double back, earn some more credits, unlock some more parts, that kind of thing. And then I'm hoping that by Saturday we'll have enough colloquial knowledge between us all that we can start helping people with their builds. Because I figure most people will be able to pick it up on Saturday. And that's the point where we can help others. You know, it seems like Armored Core 6 is using a blend of 4 and 5 setup I did see some super weapons, but they seem to be more practical than... if you didn't play Armored Core 5, it added the concept of super weapons. These ridiculously ostentatious, usually shoulder-mounted pieces of kit that would unfurl into these gigantic Doom weapons. Most of them were trash. But from what I saw, at least of today's launch trailer, there is one weapon that it starts off as a shoulder weapon and it unfurls into a double-heated chainsaw melee weapon. And I'm like, yes, please. Because usually my go-to is rotating laser weapons so you're always able to do something, and then getting some beefy missiles in the ilk. But the idea that we could use the shoulders for melee, so have the shield and the melee weapon, and then have lasers as the main guns, that could work very well. But we'll see how the whole thing comes together. Sorry, I've got to be careful not to roll over the dog. There's... I also saw their version of the pneumatic nail, or as Fasele calls it, the P-nail, which seems to be like an energy jet-powered driver. No, Scotty. Cliffy's too busy being a comic writer, having decided that Broadway just wasn't for him. Oh, and Boo, that's feckin' cool. So yeah, for those of you who are also getting into Armored Core like the moment of launch, let's do a play-along, you know? But basically, we can all start the missions together, and then, like, time them as we're going through. That could be a lot of fun. But I think that, like, having a break for some Sea of Thieves on Friday evening would be a good idea, because that way y'all don't end up... Well, one, sick to the fucking back teeth of me playing Armored Core. And no one ends up getting kind of, like, alienated. And I think that's important. Sorry, excuse me a sec. No, we are all good. Sorry about that. Hey, Sadlin. Watto and welcome. I was talking about... Okay. The good thing that I've been trying to make happen all day has just happened. Very happy about this. Oh, Caffeine, thank you. Caffeine has posted Sleepy Dog tax. I mean, the Jarl hasn't declared a state of pet pitch attacks. However, you know, tidings are always welcome. Phyllis, sadly, I can't. I had to just check the thing, and part of the thing is I can't talk about the thing. I can't say that I'm doing the thing. No, Air Dragon, it is super cool. And I apologize, I don't mean to be obfuscating on purpose. But no. One thing I can tell you, friends, is I have a couple of things going on throughout PAX. I'm actually going to finally get a sit-down chat with the Behemoth, the team that are currently working on the new Alien Homid game, but previously of Battle Block Theatre, Pit People, Castle Crashers, etc. I've been wanting to have a chat with them for a long time, because they're such a fascinating part of the industry that they sprung up basically as the game development wing of Newgrounds back when, like, being an indie, especially at being a PS2 indie, was pretty unheard of. And yeah, they've been careful with their releases, and they've been core with their experiences, and they're still going. You know, they're still a huge part of PAX. So that is a cool thing I can tell you about. Oh yeah, sorry. So like, friends, what are your thoughts? What are your feels? Because like, obviously, Armored Core is an important game to me. You know, I have loved that series, and I will admit I fell out of love with it in Armored Core 5, as I think a lot of peeps did. But looking at how they're coming back to this, like, this isn't just more mechs. Okay, if you didn't see it, oh, feck it, why not? So they put out a launch trailer. Does anyone mind if I play you all the Armored Core launch trailer? Because it's a little bit easier than kind of basically reciting my point, you know? Is there anyone who is against watching the Armored Core launch trailer? Okay, a little speak now or forever hold your mech peace. Oh, apparently Amos doesn't want to watch it. You know, son of mine. I'm just kidding, baby boy. I'm just kidding. Alright. Pause the funk. Alright, so this is the Armored Core 6 launch trailer. And I'm going to pause it whenever I see some of the deets. Okay, so there's the P-Nail. Lol.
Where there's coral, there's blood.
Oh, Coral's the magic fuel MacGuffin. Also, is C222 in? Because someone was saying something about 621 being a number reference, and my brain is completely smooth today, so I could not think about it. And Legend, we'll see. I'm basically just going to be, you know, bracing and icing my hand a lot. It's also why we're playing like a PC title today and like Rain World tomorrow. Okay, so this was the point where I realized, like, holy crud. Hang on.
Are you really making us watch this, Swinky?
Ah! Well played, Favor 6, well played. And MDH, I mean, geez, which drama? But I want to wind this back. Okay, so we've got Orby McMissleface here. A lot of what this trailer is showing off is kind of like the customization. So it's like, here, this person is taking a Tank Treads mech out for a run. So, hang on, how do I change playback speed? I used to know how to do this. Here we go. Playback speed 1.5. Alright, so check this out. Oh, I'll just mute it to avoid. So we have our little flamethrower floaty mech with additionals. Look at that sweep. If that isn't What's-Her-Face from the Clock Tower in Bloodborne, I don't know what that is. Like, the animation there, they've absolutely taken the ideas that they've been putting into stuff like, you know, the Soulsian games and Elden Ring, and are bringing them back over for these huge bombastic fights. Like, this one as well, like, I don't know which boss from Dark Souls that is specifically, but the way the sweeping move in was absolutely reminiscent. And like, I do not know what that weapon was there, used to basically stun, but it seemed to be like a melee into almost like an electric cloud. Like, this, like, 2v2 fight here, the way the enemies are moving kind of reminds me of, like, the Red Invaders. You know what? Yes, Legend. It has an Arcturus feel to it. It does. Ah, Caffeine, you're right. It's obviously a lightning photon whip. There we go! There we go! Double chainsaw arm, let's fucking go! If you didn't see that. So our little dude is all trundling around. And, yeah, equips and lights up this like double hand chainsaw beast. Now, I didn't realize that my Amazon wishlist was viewable by From Software, but apparently they did get me the chainsaw I asked. And Lagmeister, so we are going to be playing Armored Core this week. I wanted to break down like the amount of my excitement. And you're right, Caffeine, it does look like it's a left arm slot rather than a shoulder. I guess they went with like light missiles to avoid like getting overweight. Oh, and this is the boss fight that they showed us earlier on, which is very reminiscent of the kaiju from Metal Gear Solid Survive. Now, whether that's something we get access to or not, I don't know, but that seemed to be like a hella artillery piece. Sadly, those artillery pieces are always a great idea until you take them into a fight. I'm sure there's a way you could make them work, but as much as I always love the look of them, they never do what I want them to. But yeah, I guess the reason why I wanted to talk to you all about this is that I know some of you have motion sickness, like some of you aren't keen on big, super flashy lights. So yeah, that's why I'm going to try and do Sea of Thieves on Friday night, and then just a whole day of mechs on Saturday. Maybe even a whole day of mechs on Sunday. We'll see how it goes. Like, this is probably going to become a weekly slot for us. There we go. The full jet charge into the spike nail. As we found out from Vata Vidya Vaidi, or whatever his name is, things like being able to grab your opponents with your feet and do those kind of like mech finishers are going to be part of a skill tree that you have, which is refundable and reconfigurable, which is fucking cool. Like, this is a game that's actually going to have a plot that makes sense. I mean, it's... Alright, the start of it's pretty... the start of it's pretty silly, but it makes sense. You are a mech pilot, but you fucked up. And your body is dead, but your brain and consciousness are inside the mech. You are doing a job off the books. You're basically a scab, but for the mercenaries. You are doing a job off the book to destabilize this area so they can show up and harvest the coral. Your first order of business is to fly down to the planet, steal somebody's ID card, like steal their like mercenary SAG-AFTRA card, take their identity and start doing jobs as them. And famous from soft games with plots. They do exist. Bloodborne makes sense. It just takes a little bit of reading. We don't talk about Genlock in this house. Sorry, Deus was like, wasn't that the plot of Genlock? Poor Genlock. It deserved so much better. If you never watched it, friends, Genlock was very promising to start with. And the season 2 of it was so awful. So awful. Oh, and Lizzie, Watto and welcome. But yeah. Oh yeah, Phyllis, I do like that the nickname of the mercenary, the call sign of the mercenary whose identity you steal is Raven. Like, they know what's going down. They know. Anyway, let's get those tunes back. But I just want to remind you all that, you know, this isn't about me, this is about us. And it's rare that I will go hard on a game, you know what I mean? So, in that regard, if it gets to the point where you're like, well, this might be too much robots, or, hey, you might be getting crazy eyes, or what have you, you can tell me, you know? Ultimately, the games that we play here they're a vehicle for conversation, or they're kind of the games that I wish people had been able to show me when I was like, you know, working in previous games companies and stuff like that. Well then, Wraith, we are 5x5. I guess I'm just nervous, you know? It's not like us to go hard on titles like this. And even with MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries, that one didn't quite have enough meat to it to keep going. But this is a fully constructed story. And this is the first, like, proper Armored Core game we've had in a long time. Maybe that's it, Legend. Maybe I should, like, get some, like, Animu contacts and shit. Unlock the Sharingan. Okay. An Air Dragon, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. If your mech persists for longer than comfortable, please consult your nearest Jim Belushi. For those who don't know, Jim Belushi did a bunch of training videos for the old mech pods back in the day. They are golden. And honestly, I might make everybody watch them before we start playing Armored Core. Oh, hang on. I need to switch off my my birthday stream tag. Apologies. So yeah, so we're going to get into the Betrayer in just a second. It is going to be, it's like, yeah, 17th century East Coast nonsense. It has a weird but like distinct art style, and it's one of those games that you don't necessarily need to have to play, but I hope it stays with you, because like what it lacks in polish, it more than makes up for in identity, for lack of a better term. So also I have fizzy water later, so yeah, getting right fancy. Air Dragon. Supposedly, there's still rumored to be a warehouse full of those pods somewhere in the greater Seattle region. Back when I was doing stuff for TurboPlay, they apparently had a lead on who that was. But when TurboPlay went under and like the people running it went like radio silent, I sadly lost that in, because they were apparently going to release the unpublished content from MechWarrior 4, but that's another story. And it was also before we realized that, you know, crypto was an absolute shit show of an idea. I did like TurboPlay's idea. Sorry, for those of you that are new here, 1,000 years ago we did a sponsored stream for a company called TurboPlay. We hosted a stream from their, like, pre-announced party. TurboPlay has completely gone defunct after, I think, some like legal shenanigans with the, at the time, owner's previous company going after them for, you know, reutilizing technology. But a TLDR, it was going to be a Steam competitor. However, it was going to do one little quirk that I thought was really interesting. That by using the platform, you generated your turbo tokens. And turbo tokens could be used to buy games, but they could also be used to tip developers. So the thing is, like, I could buy your game, and then I could give you more money. And those turbo tokens would be honored as cash going out to the developer. And I'm like, that's fucking great. You know, I'd love it if fucking Steam added a tipping currency, a tipping service. Like, that would be fucking brilliant. Now, no, I don't think games like, you know, Call of Duty need to be tipped, but, you know, something like, like the void reigns on her heart and stuff like that. All you can do is buy it once. You know, you could gift it to other people, I guess. Yeah. Sorry, Varials, I didn't actually know you were here. It was just... I keep looking at the Steam 250 page, and you're currently the number 2 hottest hidden gem on Steam. But... well, so Fearless, with this one, there was a time when people were doing some fascinating stuff with blockchain tech, and all of those projects died. And, like, that was well before we saw the Nuft explosion, well before we saw everybody, like, shifting to these, basically, you know, pyramid schemes. Oh yeah, I guess that's the case, Varials. You're not you're not an unknown quantity anymore. Yeah, so like, I'm sorry, I've probably told you all about this like 8 times. There was a friendo that was working on a CCG where all the cards were basically all different parts of a token, right? Hello, baby boy. Did you overheat? Did you go get cooked? You gonna come flump? Sorry. And so the idea being is that each card would be unique, and that would allow you to have your own deck of cards. The business model was going to be based around lending your cards to other people, so anyone could play for free, but you'd be borrowing other people's cards. And then if you wanted to have a deck all your own, that you purchase that. But the problem is like, any changes to the cards were a massive overhaul. Because like once they're rolled out, you can't just patch them. You can't just like tweak or change it. And sadly, you know, despite a lot of really good intentions and good ideas, that project died. And this was well before the Nufta Web3 scamiverse. And I really did think TurboPlay had the potential to be in that space. You know? I personally think that anything that helps facilitate, especially independent developers, being able to make a living off of their games, I absolutely support. Like... But that's another story. But no, so like, again, every project that tried utilizing blockchain technology, it just ended up being a more expensive and more janky way of doing things that we were already doing. So yeah. What I need to do, friends, is I need to make a video that shows off our Friendo's games. I need to make a little video reel that's like wishlist this, because I've been thinking about how I'm going to be running the Longship going forward. And one of the challenges we have at the moment is the animals. Like, River's getting older. Today she was really struggling to get up the stairs, so I had to kind of like just to hold her little dog booty and just shimmy her up the stairs. Like, this happens to the best of us. Boo, River doesn't like it when I carry her. She's very stubborn about this. She's made this very clear. And Fiona had to get like an over-the-shoulder dog lifter for River. But that's another story. But the thing is that until I can either find more help or our situation changes, there's going to be more interruptions during the stream throughout the day. Now, the Longship's pretty unique in that we don't need 100 people all day or day to survive. I'm entirely supported by you lot. Tips and bits. Tips and bits. That is why this continues to be a thing week in, week out. But I also understand that, like, it can be pretty frustrating where you're like, here's $2 to keep Will going. Now he's gone. Okay, now he's rushed away. Okay, how long is this going to be? Who knows? And the two parts of my life kind of clashing against each other have been very challenging. All right. So I'm trying to think of things that I can do to help keep the squad together, where if I have to rush off and look after River or look after Amos or something like that, like, I can keep you lot entertained. And I've been thinking, like, as we get more and more new people, like, into the Longship, I realize that, like, you might not know about The Void Reigns Upon Her Heart. And for those who don't know, that's Varial's game. It's feckin' great. It's Bullet Hell Hades. It's... I mean, I've often described it as, like, Slay the Spire by way of Ikaruga. But, like, oh, Rilu! Watto and welcome! And the thing is, like, Varial's game isn't the only Longshipian that has a title out on Steam, you know? If you want to support, if you want to support, like, the people behind the Blackout Club, pick up the Magic Circle, you know? One of our friendos in Game Dev Town, where are they at? Good old Making Games. Riku.
A man walks up to a bar, says, "You the bartender?" The plate of food replies, "No, chicken tenders."
Get out! And then please come back. Fucking yo. Akira Zero, thank you for the 500, friend. But yeah, so one of our squad is working on Potions, A Curious Tale.
Here's $2. He's gone. How long will he be gone?
Feckin'. Only the dramatic duck can truly know. And Akira Zero and Favorite 65 thank you. Like, it all adds up every month, and it's why I get to keep doing this. So thank you. But yeah, I want to put together like a little like promo reel of, you know, games that we support or want to support. Because I don't know if you've seen, friends, like the Ichi Zone still doesn't have enough sales to even have a rating on Steam yet. Like, okay, if you're wondering why that happened, unfortunately, they launched the game for free by mistake. Which was great. It basically means, like, if you got it, like, absolute day one, you got it for free. You're that much of a cheese fiend. However, it means that any reviews left during that time don't count towards its Steam ranking. So it's just sitting there at no user reviews. And it's like, the Ichi Zone is one of the best, most agonizing titles. Like, it deserves to be infamous. God, and just like the Don't Wake Cliffy was so tense. Might be one of the best gaming moments we've had in a while, you know what I mean? And I want to support them. I want to support more games. So yeah. I'm just incoherently babbling, aren't I? Let's kill some skeletons. Let's fuck up some skeletons. Anyway, Rilu, how was your day? What have you been up to? Tell me your tales. This soundtrack, by the way, absolutely does not fit today's game. Hope you like skeletons. I hope you like skeletons. Also, as an FYI, this isn't a spoopy game. Oh. Although technical problems can be spoopy in their own right. Sorry about this. Oh! Oh, God. Okay, you're at like a 10. I need you at like a 6. There we go. Oh, we can use a gamepad. Alright, well. There we go. Oh, your phone name's still on there. Oh, lovely. Rilu's doing a spot of a self-care evening. Well, that sounds lovely. Okay. Sorry, I gotta readjust so I don't run the dog over. So, welcome to Betrayer. This came out back in 2017, and this was a squad of game devs who had left Monolith, a team ravaged by publisher expectation and ridiculousness. If you haven't played Fear 3, it's hard to state how a team that became famous for being like one of the freshest teams in like the FPS space was unfortunately whittled away into banality, despite their best attempts. I mean, against their will. So a bunch of them got together, they fucked off, and they made this. It didn't review very well at the time, and it is not one of the great games. However, it is fresh, it is different, and even now I think it's still worth having a look at. However, what we don't know is what happened to the studio. The mystery that we have today that we can deep dive into is that this game is no longer available for sale on Steam. Black Powder Games is both the, it is self-published, they're both the dev and the publisher. And apparently the game was removed at the behest of the publisher. So they unpublished their own game, but it's still available on GOG. So, like... Wait. Also, I don't think anyone can step to that level of Rilu. That's too powerful. It's too powerful. Oh, hang on a second. I've just got to get into the... Wait, now where are the... Oh, don't tell me video controls are only at the fucking... options... Hang on. Sorry about this. Oh, there we go. There we go. All right. There we go. Sorry, I was seeing the tearing. Oh, sorry, Jam, you're right. It was released in 2014. Yeah, and Jam, to my knowledge, it was taken down at some point this year? So we are here at the beach. Cheeky longbow arrow. And 18 coins. Now, I don't know how this is coming across, and hopefully the bitrate's not chunking this, but, you know, you can see it's got this incredibly stark art style. We've... It's a musket load. We've just washed up on a beach here with no explanation. And again, after some of the titles that we've been encountering recently, I'm really down for just, here you are. Hey! Friends, what's better than a group of dragons? That would be a chaos of dragons. Which is kind of like a murder of crows, but more mischievous. Nightmare Angel, Watto and welcome. Hello, hello. We've just started Betrayer. So, I hope you like your games monochromatic and interesting. To the Chaos of Dragons, how was your stream? What were you up to? Pizza party, pizza party, pizza party. It's weird, like, how different terms mean different things to people. Pizza party should mean, oh shit, this is a party, and there's pizza? But after you've been in game dev for long enough, pizza party means, ah shit, I'm not getting paid for overtime, am I? But how are you doing, friend? Again, how was your stream? What were you up to? Tell me your tales. We've been talking a lot about Armored Core 6 today. And I know we've talked about other things, but apparently I don't have the brain power to recall it. And we've just started playing this game. This is called Betrayer. This is a first-person survival-y title. Came out in 2014. It was made by a team of ex-AAA developers, and whatever has happened to them since is weird. Their company website is now like listicles and guides. They had this game pulled from Steam, but it is available on GOG. Like, we don't know what's going on. Chaos did some Pokemon Stay with Friends. Lovely. I don't know if you saw the one of the new Pokemon shown off today that is spooky matcha green tea that steals people's fucking souls. Continuing, as everyone has said, the long Pokemon tradition of ghost types being haunting as fuck. Okay, so the beach here. Got some points of interest up the road. And then we're just at here on the coastal path. Okay. Yeah, one of the reasons why I wanted to use a controller for this one, friends, I feel like if I whip the mouse around too quickly, you're... It's gonna get nasty. Yeah, Chaos. There's nothing. It's fine. It's all fine. Okay. Note. I do not know who you are or why you've come here, but you should turn back, lest you become trapped in this place as I am. Pfft. Never nerd. I'm trapped in here with you. You're trapped in here with me. But no, Chaos, that sounds like a lovely afternoon. Damn it. You know what, Lizzie? I hadn't thought of that, but now I do. But yeah, I'm a little bit brain dead today, so apologies if I'm not my usual conversational self. I finally got to see Less Than Jake live last night. And while I'm not ragingly hungover, and I'm very grateful for late night breakfast foods, I did stay up very late and I did drink a lot. So, I'm a little bit smooth-brained today. Dear sir, or madam, I've come into possession of a number of items of exceptional quality and indisputable value. As a token of my good faith, I offer you a free bow in hopes you might survive long enough to become a regular customer. Arrows will be free for a limited time as well. Beware that they may sometimes deflect from armoured enemies, so be sure to carry plenty and recover them when you can. I will put my trust in your honour to leave payment for whatsoever you choose to purchase. Respectfully, John Howie, the merchant. Okay. Oh, hang on a second. Oh, so sorry, friends. So it's given us a cracked longbow. It does appear to be our only weapons and charm. But at least for now, we have a bow for notching, and we still have our little dagger. So we're purchasing things on the honor system. Okay. Oh, excuse me. And Lizzie, you are right. I did actually get to go out into the world and be a person, which was lovely. The gig was wonderful. All of the warm-up acts were feckin' brilliant. And I didn't go too hard. Like, I'll probably be in severe amounts of, like, leg and back pain tomorrow. But right now, look, check this out. I can move my head left and right. For those of you who just joined us, the last gig I went to was The Offspring. And I windmilled on headbang cam. And then couldn't move my neck for several days. Oh, the note says, because your well-being is important to me, both physically and sentimentally, I feel I should advise you that enemies are easiest to slay if you catch them unaware, for their rage makes them stronger. Shots to the head will also inflict more grievous injury than those of the trunk or limbs. Please rely on me whenever you find yourself in need of deadlier implements of warfare. Cordially, John Howie, the Fuckmaster. Sorry, I don't know why I said that. Ha-ha! How about that? Crude pistol parts, broken. Glass bead, value 1. And I can't see his face, so we're just going to assume that he is regular. He is a regular, normal man. Jam says the Black Powder Games last tweet was on December 31st, 2014. I assume that's when they went under. Apparently on SteamDB it had an update on the 30th of May this year. Alright, so that's the point where it went off. Sorry, it went offline. Or it got pulled off of Steam. If you go to their site, again, it's just a bunch of, like, game guides and it does not look reputable. Oh, the weapons you recover from slain adversaries are generally of poor quality, being both feebler and more cumbersome to employ than you may desire. The weapons that I offer are guaranteed to do more harm and do it faster. Jin, it does more harm and it does it faster. Okay. No, Jam, like I said, I don't have an answer for why Black Powder Games is in a weird state. And sometimes teams like this will attempt to, like, obfuscate where possible. Because either they're looking for funding, or by the time they know they can't get funding, they've already lost control of, like, their websites and whatnot, their IPs. Ooh. Okay, that's useful. Significance of trying to go to a band. Band's website was sketchy as hell, clearly not owned by them anymore. And trying to find out any information. I mean, that's understandable. I certainly wouldn't want to. Beans. Was it me, or did it sound like some of those were like comedy sound effects? Anyway, whatever it just did to us hurt a lot, because we took a lot of damage from that. Like, if there was an update, I mean, I wonder if perhaps they lost the rights to some of the, like, the sounds or things used. Because the thing was, they did list a few names at the beginning. And whether or not those were meant to be voice actors' names, or if those were just, like, just the dev team, I'm not sure. Alright, unlocked Fort Henry destination. Dear sir or madam, I hope the bow I gave you has been a reasonable service, but I would encourage you to consider my finer wares. I accept coin or barter as you see fit. Okay, so we've got the shoddy longbow at the moment. Common longbow, slightly better. Common musket, ooh, lovely. Tomahawk, stock unlimited. Can't carry any more. Crude charm of vigor. I'm harder to see. Okay. Okay, so I assume like the broken things that we found earlier don't really count towards anything. Drink from barrel will restore your health and refill your water skin if you have one. Lovely. Oh, it's the quenchiest. Though the figure appears human, it is only ash and ember. Interesting. Oh, Amos is doing a little snore. Oh, D-pad left. Okay. According to our prisoner, the Spaniards seek to destroy settlements that might be used for privateering against their treasure fleets, and will surely come at us again. We need reinforcements if we're to repel further attacks. Oh, Sir Hans Wolf, Watto and welcome. I think one of the reasons why I get so... Short bow arrows, intended for the head of the last century. I think one of the reasons why I get so obsessed with games industry nonsense when it comes to things like this, like, you know, a games company that has disappeared or otherwise. Oh, journal updated, collected a bell. The Indian king, who they call Werunts, was much pleased by our gifts of tools and trinkets, and gave us in return abundance of corn and bear meat. I've never eaten bear. I feel that bears have at least a fair shout. What's this? Something appears to be buried here, but it's solid as too hard to dig with your bare hands. Okay. No, so in video games, when a whole ass company just disappears, right? There's such an absence of information that it can be very, very, very difficult to find out like what's going on. And especially if anything even vaguely legal is involved, people just say nothing. Like, I was mentioning TurboPlay earlier. I have some theories, but they are nothing but theories. Replace the bell. Do-do-do-do. Oh, God! What the fuck was that? Sorry, forgive my language. What the fuck was that? Completely normal bell. Love it. Brilliant. Great. Wonderful. Yeah, apparently I can just turn the bell.
2 bells?
2 bells. Both of them horrifying. High five, Tony buddy. Okay, so clues. We have the ashen figures, the bell. The bell has been remounted. Ringing it seems to change and aspect the world by some unfathomable means. And that Fort Henry was attacked in some way, shape, or form. I'm going to explore outside the settlement a little bit before we even fucking touch that bell again. And I'm definitely going to save and continue. Sorry, where were we? So Hans Wolf, this game is called Betrayer. It takes place during the 17th century. You play an unknown character who has recently washed ashore from what appears to be a shipwreck. And you have come to this strange monochromatic world. So what have we got here? Emil Pyrrhus, killed fighting Spanish. Here lies Mary Barnes, 24, died of sickness. Edward Barnes, died of sickness. Found dead along the path. Well, that's not good. Murdered by a Spaniard. Oh. Alright. So I guess we need to explore whatever the Dark World is. Now, to my understanding, as we start finding areas and or making them safe, like the colour ends up being brought back into this world. Love it if we could close that door, but... Alright. 2 bells. Poorly thought out idea, 2 bells. Okay, so we've still got the things that are stuck with our bare hands, so we can't dig these up even in the upside down bell land. Even the bellrometer doesn't seem to help. Oh look! It's a tiny trowel! Got a tiny trowel! Tiny trowel for digging things! Oh, interesting. So this is based on the Lost Colony. Oh, wonderful. Friends, I'm so glad that by digging in the ground we found a fucking eyeball. So glad. Oh, piss off, ghost. A petrified ear! Oh, goody. Goody, wonderful goody. I'm so happy we're just digging up body parts today. Hey friends, welcome to Body Part Tuesday. It's a new thing we're doing here. It's a petrified tongue! Oh, it's just... Oh. I've decided I don't like Body Part Tuesday. Who is Martha? Where's Martha? So Martha's my wife. Who are you? I'm Captain William Eastgrove. Where'd you last see her? On the hillside, sitting together. I was holding her hand. Talking about her son. Shall find her if I can. Oh, God! Now listen, you promised me no jump scares. And this is distinctly jump scare-esque. Alright,
Alright, speaking with a wraith named William Eastgrove. I love the way we say that in such a casual manner. He appeared in the dark when I rang the bell and vanished when daylight returned. I couldn't see him until I found this strange eyeball. Made in red. Well, that is unsettling. It's an odd thing to pick up. I thought it might be useful. Personally, I find the tongue more unsettling. You didn't lick the Wraith, did you? Sorry, Wraith, you're not getting licked today. I don't make the rules. I confess, I'm suddenly curious to what one might taste like. Who are you? I can't remember. I'm sure that I lived here. This place is familiar, but it's like a dream that I can't recall. Do you remember anything? Oh, my sister. I've been searching for her, but I can't remember her name either. Perhaps she is hiding from the Spaniards. They seem more beasts than men. Spaniards, I've seen no one but you since I awoke in the forest days ago. I assure you there are no Spaniards here. I'm going to be like, one of us is not seeing the world as it is.
Well, I thought it wasn't a horror game.
I thought it had horror elements, but it's meant to be just an arty survival-y game. Anyway. Let's go find this ghost. Very well. Listening will lead you to areas of interest. You will find different locations in the normal world versus the other world. You have to listen to both. There's a button that popped up that just said, like, press X to listen. Active listening. Okay. I certainly hear something. It seems to be coming from inside the building, but I don't have a way to get in yet. Freeform storytelling! What if... Hapacha! What if we ring the bell and then follow it? Oh, okay. Mr. Eastgrove? Oh, he's just hanging out doing ghost shit. Okay. I will admit, I'm mildly confused. That's neither here nor there. Okay, let's unring this bell. 2 bells! 2 bells. Oh, you're in another place. Do you think these Ash people... which Ash figures? We don't see any people that like Ash. Okay, so this strange red companion doesn't see the Ashen people. Alright. Anyway, let's go for a spot of exploring. Alright, so if we turn right and just follow the path and just go exploring, okay? Sorry about that, friends. I kind of got lost in this strange monochromatic world. But no, what I was trying to say was... oh, and Yeti, what and welcome. Sorry, I didn't give you a proper hello. So what I was scratching at was... Sometimes when games companies disappear, there isn't really enough noise about it that you can get like a cohesive view on what happened to them. And sometimes that lack of info creates these very strange little pockets. You know, there are teams like Night Dive out there. There are teams like Night Dive out there who are specifically going out to try and... Oh, wow. Matey Boy's got good eyes. Haha! Got him. Teams like Night Dive out there who are going out specifically to try and find these lost games and hopefully restore a little bit of something of them. But you know, when things like No One Lives Forever and stuff like that, oh, felt that in the cheap seats. Yeah, the muskets are no joke. It's the ricochet sound that really does sound like a comedy bonk. I wonder if that was intentional. So currently, so Hanswolf, this came out in 2014. This was put together by a group of like ex-Monolith developers. And it did okay. A clue? That infernal storm spared our ship, but scuttled Captain Harper's common sense. And that and all of who support him continuing on after Rebecca and after the Rebecca and Splendor turned back to England. We shall all of us pay for that folly in disappropriate measure unless we abandon this hopeless venture and sail away from here with the provisions we can gather. Alright, so we're not the only people who crashed here, and apparently it drove them loopy. Dot Hill destination. Okay, so we seem to have a limited amount of quick travel as well. This morning we could find no trace of Tabitha Malarkey. The sentries saw no one coming or going.
I went into a class meeting hella late and fucking nailed the reading lecture, lol.
Good on you. Congratulations. Someone got stolen wholesale. That'll be Faye. It's interesting that there's no music. Like, there's a lot of ambient sound, but there's no music. There's no... Very curious indeed. Haha! Got it. Betrayal. Kilimanjaro. Okay. The spoopy noise there was me using the active listening. Interesting. The remains of a soldier is partly buried in loose soil. The cause of death is not obvious. Dug up a finely made reed flute. Interesting. So here's the things, I mean, the things that I knew that I really wanted to show you this title for is, like, one, look at this art style. Like, it is hiding a multitude of sins in a good way. Explosive? Wellity, wellity, wellity. I think I'm going to not throw my only bomb. Scotty says this is like Sin City Jacobite edition. I like it. But no, this stark art style means that some of the assets aren't top quality. And the lethality of these enemies means that you've really got to be— Ow! Dick. Haha. The lethality of these enemies means you really do have to be on your toes. Rusty Musket is a really good band name, by the way. And admittedly, it's slightly overpronounced. But the little flashes and the tinge of red gives everything a really interesting vibe. You know, we saw a lot of this employed for some of the DreadX collection. And significant, it's not intending for jump scares per se. What ends up happening is like the ambient enemies and their lethality kind of creates a situation where you just gotta be ready. Like, it's the middle of the day, it's bright, and yet, because of this, like, stark color palette, it's really hard to get a good sense of where everything is. Like, it creates something. It really does create a sense of tension. And, you know, I'll be honest with you, like, I feel our character is already very competent in some manner. And that makes for a curious experience. Like, as it currently stands, I guess it's the second time in recent memory I'm talking about, I believe it's called Eden Log. A black and white sci-fi horror film vaguely based on Norse mythology. Oh, is this where it came from? Yup. I've gone back in a loop. Eden Log is not a particularly brilliant film, but it does a few very, very interesting things. And one of them is how it messes with perspective. Like, it is a sci-fi facility that's had some kind of, like, zombie infection outbreak. It's all filmed in black and white. And it gives us a POV character who we absolutely cannot rely on narratively, you know what I mean? Hello there. Alright, you still helping the Wraith find friends? Yes. There we go. Actually, Angel Cleaner, the Rusty... the Rusty Musket is a great name for a pub. Also, I wonder how much of like the soundscape is intentional. And this whole thing of like active listening, while sadly doesn't work very well. Like, this game is an accessibility nightmare. But the active listening is fascinating because you just have to stop and take a breath and hear, and just be. So I'm holding down active listening now, and I hear something vaguely off in this direction. Like, if we go by map, yeah, that does seem to be leading us towards something. You know what, Legend? I like that. And I think the other thing about this is, like, the eerie weirdness. It starts with this stark, unapologetic art style. This is shrouded in corruption. What does that even mean? And then, like, the almost entirely unnatural soundscape. Ow! The entirely unnatural soundscape combined with that creates something that's really feckin' eerie. Ow! That fucking shot come from? There we go. I was trying to read that. Joke. Are you doing better than me then? I absolutely did get scared. Caffeine, to be continued, friend. To be continued. Legend says, wasn't the enemies would be a soothing soundscape? I wonder. Because, like, it's just this side of eerie. I don't know. I'm still... I mean, I'm experiencing this game at the same time as you all, so I feel like I'm still putting it into words. Also, absolutely going to save. To run out of water. This Side of Eerie is a great band name. We've come up with some absolute bangers today. Oh, I'm definitely going to need to hail hydrate in a second. Sometimes with titles like this, it's tricky. I'm not brave. It's tricky to deconstruct it at the same time as playing it because, like, this has such a subtle, creeping weight to it. And we have not explored whatever the fucking Upside Down is. Scotty says, it reminds me of being on a cliffside, but where the wind carries the sound of the ocean away, so it's almost silent. Shit, yeah, that's a great way of putting it. It's got that, like... It's got that desert silence to it. Ah, thank feck. Some water here, and then another little... sorry, 1,000 years ago, when we were on a trip to Vegas, we took a day to get away from the main city, and we went out on like a little nature trail hike, and it was real nice. But the thing about it was that which I hadn't encountered in a very, very long time, was like natural silence. Like, I've been in sound booths before. Like, I've been in silent environments. So, like, that wasn't anything new, but, like, it was one of my first times encountering, like, fucking pure natural silence. Also, I am starting to wonder if they did use the, like a default sound pack. Because that big monster noise was definitely the default bear noise from quite a few different video games. Like that one dragon sound they used in Warcraft 2 that is in, like, every low-budget film. That's in the story. Hadouken. Hadouken. Mr. Burden was told off by one of the Indians of the great kingdom that lies in ruin far to the west, said to have been rich with copper and pearls of the finest quality. Naturally, this tale has aroused much keen discussion and speculation among all who have heard it, but the tribes say that it is haunted, and a cursed place guarded by the shades of those who dwelled there. Obviously, the Europeans did not listen, and now they are fucked. This gate is closed by night. Oh, okay. So what they're calling the Shroud of Corruption means that we can't open it during the day. Alright. Europeans, messing up everyone else's shit for years to come. But we're going to head back towards the base and hopefully pick up some more arrows. But no, apologies for half telling the story, but it's just that natural ambient silence is fucking scary when you encounter it, because it's not something that at least a lot of us have much exposure to. Now, you know, same stories that I do, that, you know, there are, like, absolute silence chambers, and apparently that those can drive you loopy within, you know, a couple hours. You know, human beings just don't work in a place of absolute silence. And I can very much understand that. But now, a smarter person would be able to tell you, like, the hows and the whys. I don't have any kind of, like, grounding in psychology, so this is all personalized theories, but there's something just primordial in our old little noggins that the only time that you would ever encounter silence in a natural environment if something bigger and scarier was around. Like, birds don't give a shit about us, you know? They're either looking to, if you'll forgive me for being very crass, fight or fuck. And so they'll tweet about both of those things with great abandon, right? But if all the birds are silent, if there isn't so much as even a whisper of movement, that means they're afraid of something. And no, we don't need to get into that. I guess we're going to have to start exploring this whole area in, like, spooky bad times. Okay. Oh, we can't talk to him because we're not in a Shadow Realm. We've got to be in Ghost Town to be able to talk to the guy. Still not enough for a musket. That's just not fair. Alright. Ghost time! Hang on. Save game. Ghost time! 2 bells. Alright, so we've not found what Mr. Eastgrove is looking for. really ventured out too far this way. It's weirdly easier to see in the strange night realm. Several on the council are wary of trading with the naturals, but I believe I have convinced them of the necessity, for we cannot assume Sir Christopher will outfit a resupply fleet with sufficient urgency to ensure it reaches us from England before we have no more need of it. Okay. Why do I feel like something heinous is about to ruin our day? Ow. Skeleton. Skeleton. Ow. Excuse me? I do not appreciate this skeletal nonsense. Skeleton! There are lots of skeletons. This is not good. Could you give me 2 seconds to deconstruct the human condition, please? Skeleton's like, no. And he'll kick you with his skeleton legs. I mean, significant. Someone's gonna throw me a bone. I don't know why I'm trying to make good points about, like, you know, psychological pacing and how they represent in video games at the same time as I'm, like, wandering out into the murky night. I'm gonna ring that bell again. Let's unring this bell. 2 bells! Thank you. Oh, Peebles!
Looks like they have several bones to pick with you.
Yeah, but you're currently wedged into the back of my chest. And skeletons don't pay. Skeletons do not pay. Okay, let's check that world map and see where we're at. So on the coastal path, Fort Henry. According to... I'm not entirely sure what these markers are. I guess those are the totems. We've missed a couple of clues. And if there's a wraith to the north. Okay. Yeah, dusting around that sort of thing. But no, what I was trying to say was that you can create a fascinatingly unsettling experience with what is essentially like a very simple palette and a very, very visually open setup. Like, what's interesting is, like, combat-wise, it's made us pretty competent. It's given us explosives, a tomahawk, a bow. Like, we can handle ourselves at a very early point in this game. But it's also given us access to this, like, this dreadful shadow realm that it wants us to dance through. And something tells me the longer you spend there, the worse it gets. Do you know what I mean? Like, the idea that, yes, it wasn't too bad, but it certainly would have gotten worse if we'd stuck around. The Obra Dinn's ability to conjure the uncanny is fucking second to none. But friendos, I am flagging. I'm going to get some water. So, please, 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 don't go anywhere. Do you want some, like, funky jams or something while I'm going and getting some water? Like a break from the the rustling of the trees, or is that your jam today? Are you feeling that? Oh, sorry, Bacon. You can tell I'm flagging because I didn't say a proper thank you. Whether it is messing with me or otherwise, I am very grateful for bits and otherwise. Dustin says, yes, Bomb Rush Funk OST, please. Oh, good thing I take requests. Do they have a big old... I'm trying to find the correct one. I think this is correct. Okay. Oh yeah, and Chaunerus, I did see that, and it's very, very frustrating, but hopefully they can get it sorted. Oh, Chaunerus was just saying that some bad faith third parties have been trying to claim stuff from Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, even though the developers have said it should be claim free. So... Sorry, bear with me just a second. Everything happens so much today. Everything happens so much. Oh, right. Friends, thank you for putting up with me for being an absolute potato today. I really appreciate it, alright? We're just gonna grab some water and I'll be back in just a sec. Thank you all for waiting. I might let the funky jams play for just a little bit longer. I just need to wake up a little bit, friends. The way in which this is put together is so fascinating, and honestly, I feel bad that this wasn't the start. You know. For those of you that didn't see it, ages back, we played a whole bunch of the DreadX collections, and oh, hey, Legend, I completely understand. Honestly, I'm probably gonna putz about this a little bit longer, and I might actually switch to something else. Because this flits from being very, very calming to me worried I'm going to fall asleep in my chair to being very unsettling. Like, this is doing such a great job of living in the uncanny valley. Like, are we the mess? Is anybody, like, you know what I mean? I'm finding this very unsettling. So yeah. But anyway, jumping back. We played a fascinating game where you had a strange breech load. Oh, cheers all. This is my little treat this week. We had this strange breech load rifle where to reload it, you had to go into kind of like a physical inventory, and you had to like eject the old cartridge, pull back the hammer, take the new cartridge out, load it, prime it, and then you could fire. Creating this, like, incredible weapon. Oh, yes, and thank you, Scotty. Creating this incredible weapon. But if you biffed the shot, then the reload time was going to be so drastic, and you couldn't just, like, run away around a tree and let the animation handle all the heavy lifting of said reload. Nah, like, you had to do that. I thought that was really, really, really impressive. That feels like the sequel to this that never happened. And much like the Lost Colony that we're exploring, you know, it kind of feels like that's what we're getting from the devs. That they disappeared without a trace. Like, you know, the game developer Krakatoa, I believe it was. And I find this kind of shit, like, absolutely fascinating, you know what I mean? Yeah, Varials, a weird, like, life imitates art. And here's the thing, is, like, if we do rotatey-potatey off of this game onto something else, I don't want you to think I'm doing that because it's bad. It's just, like, I stopped, and I had a breath, and I was, like, washed my face and stuff, you know, gave the dog some more water. And I realized, like, it had been doing that thing that Dead Space used to do so well, which is, I realized I wasn't breathing a lot. Like, from what we played so far, even though it's bright and open, the overexposure limits the distance you can see, and the enemies are enough of a threat that you have to be on your toes. And so I realized that I was listening for them. I was holding my breath so that we didn't get ambushed.
So yeah, if we do end up moving on from this game, I don't want you to take that as a critique of it. Well, so Scotty, Dead Space's most powerful trick is that the ambient noise of the Ishimura never stops. And it's not something that's overly pronounced. Like, the discussion about the use of audio in Dead Space is a very, very powerful one. But it's the most subtle that's the most powerful. That feeling of, like, claustrophobia and things around the corner and that anything could go wrong at a moment's notice is hammered home by the incredible just ambient audio. And unless you just straight up Alt-Tab pause it, or like take your headphones out, you don't realize how well it's constructed. Okay, sorry. Most of you know this because if you didn't know it before we met, I've definitely told you. So, sorry, I'm saying it like it's, you know, brand new genius. But, for myself, I was made aware of it when playing it back on the old 360. One of our friendos DM'd us a message while we were playing. And so to open up the little Xbox messaging app, it freezes the title. So no sound, no audio, title frozen. And then suddenly me and my partner at the time, who was with me while we were playing through it, we just went, oh. We realised we'd been instinctively taking smaller breaths for that paranoia, that thing your body does unconsciously when you feel like you might be being hunted by something. Fuck, that was good. Oh yeah, no, and Fearless, the vacuum being nothing but Isaac's breath, making it so much more oppressive. Like, holy fuck. Oh. And while this isn't doing it to the same quality level, this is definitely hitting some similar beats. So I think what we need to do in our current mission is find this ghost's friend or wife. They were roommates. And then I think that should allow us to dispel whatever the weird darkness is and then maybe progress. Because I thought what we had to do was go into the Shadow Realm and then that would allow us to go through the doors protected by darkness. But... sorry. Don't stay up late going to Scar gigs, kids. It leaves your brain dead the next day. So how are you all doing, friends? For those of you that I didn't see since my birthday, how are you all doing? Let's take a little bit of time to just hang out for a little bit longer. Oh, and Angel, I'm sorry to hear that, friend. Oh. Don't stay up late. It's bad for you. Oh, I need to repose these Gandams. Sorry, I look over and it looks like a crime scene right now. Gotta sort that out.
God, sorry, I am so sorry. I keep spacing on you all. All right. Ooh! Right. Let's play some. Hang on. Let me bounce around. Gotta wake up here. I'm gonna wake up. Oh, okay. Shake it off. Shake it off. Hubba-cha. 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 All right. What is? What is one thing, friends? What is one thing that you have been watching recently that you have found yourself getting weirdly into? That is to say, be it like a film or a show or what have you, but one specifically that you've become weirdly either enamored or just ended up going way into depth with. Because, oh, excuse me. I've been strangely obsessed with a show called Solar Opposites. And it's not good. It is not a good show. However, it's the show within the show that I've been increasingly obsessed with. And they recently released season 4. See, up until that point, Solar Opposites was just another like Justin Rollins vehicle of him just doing stuff on the mic and just generally, you know, Rick and Mortying it up. Like, fair enough. If you haven't seen the show, 4 aliens and their pet terraforming creature just living in a regular space. It's nothing really super inspired. Like, I can't think of a time where it's really made me laugh, you know what I mean? But, however, inside the show, there is the wall. And in one of the early episodes, to deal with a handful of bullies and problems they've had, one of the alien kids shrinks everybody down to tiny size and puts them in a gigantic kind of like terrarium that they have hidden in their wall. And throughout the series, this terrarium is like explored by the people that go in it. It goes from being a joke to being this like arcing saga. You know, initially it's like a lawless place where people kill each other for the scant few jelly beans that the aliens put in the wall to feed them. Later on, it's taken over by the Duke, and we follow the path of Tim, just a regular guy on the wall who becomes an unwitting hero fighting against the Duke, running the wall like this bizarre Mad Maxian town. Then we have the overthrowing of the Duke and the reign of Tim. Tim himself becoming this kind of like this, utopian leader who unfortunately ends up going completely doolally-tap because he's been drinking out of a paint-leaded cup. With the death of Tim and the revealing of the hole in the wall and the return of Sherry, there is then like almost a Handmaid's Tale-esque split between those that worship the aliens that put them in and, you know, those that are trying to run an elected society. And that's kind of where the story is at the moment. And I'm bizarrely obsessed with it. Because, one, Solar Opposites is not a good show. It's dumb humour, occasional chortle-worthy stuff. But the stakes of the Wallians is fantastic because they've been put in an impossible situation by a show that is dumb and silly involving aliens that could fix everything like that, but they don't because they're self-absorbed dingleberries. But these people are living not only with the consequences, but with like the actual evolution of that, which is fascinating. Jumping back in, Jam was saying that they showed their partner Battlestar Galactica. Oh, nice. Wait, we're talking like... Oh, God. Sorry, I was about to say something that would have turned all of our bones to dust. New Battlestar Galactica. It's not new anymore. It's not new. We're talking not the mini Battlestar Galactica, but like cool, hot Starbuck Battlestar Galactica. Significant's been on... Oh, Canberra the Iron Fortress. That's the zombie survival Steam... Like, Steam Train super anime, right? God, it's so weird. Time is a strange concept. Because it's not that I think that 2004 was 2 seconds ago. There's loads of things from around that time that I regard as being very, very, like, old and antiquated. But for some reason, Battlestar Galactica in my head is still new. You know what I mean? Like the whole, like, Buffy into Angel. In my head, Angel is still the new show. And it just hasn't kind of, like, unwormed its way out. Oh yeah, Jam. Oh, otherwise known as Katie Sackhoff, right? Leader of the Mandalorians. And piercer of my heart. Oh, oh yeah, so yeah, it's significant. It's the steampunk feudal Japan zombie survival. And that should be a garbage pitch, but it's brilliant. Not that you need me to tell you. You're the one who's super into it right now, but yeah. I'm genuinely frustrated that Jujutsu Kaisen did 5 incredible episodes that got me desperately invested in it as a show and is now taking a breather. I'm like, no! Yeah, Angel Kalina, time travel is real. God, Jujutsu Kaisen just went from, like, anime shonen battle trope to something unbelievably special in the space of 1 movie and 5 episodes. God. And Yeti, it is actually fascinating, like, the whole thing. Obviously, not to aggrandize Joss Whedon, who's a piece of shit. I just throwing that out there so that no one is under any mistake. But, Angel was such a fascinating, like... It should have been a disaster, and it wasn't. It had a great cast of characters, and it got to a very, very interesting stage. And so far as it was explained to me, the negotiation was, you can do a movie or not. And it led to a lot of... Hang on, why are we looking at this? Let's bring this onto big chat mode. I guess we're talking about Angel and Battlestar Galactica. Because you know what, friends? Even if we don't play any more of Betrayal, I feel like I showed you the beats on it that mattered, you know? I'll do a little... I'm going to do a save and quit. But if we do decide to jump back in, then we can. Anyway. God, I feel like I do need to do a replay of Battlestar Galactica. Although, I don't know if you should be worried about me or if you should, you know, be supporting this, but I do have that unnatural urge to rewatch all of Supernatural at the moment. Do not ask me why. Do not ask me why. I've got that bug, you know. Lizzie! Okay, I do not believe in astrology, but there are some forces that enact upon the humans of this human place that we all hang out, you know, Earth. So weird. Yeti was saying that Angel After the Fall is worth a read. I haven't had the stomach to do a rewatch of Buffy. I might do a rewatch of Angel at some point. And And the additional materials are worth it, if only for Puppet Spike. And J-Post, how long is Supernatural? I want to say 16 seasons? Jesus. Supernatural ran from 2005 to 2020. Consisted of 15 seasons. Fucking yo. So Angel Kalina, Supernatural is a fascinating thing because it starts with a very specific... Oh, hello there! It starts... Hang on, let me put it to just chatting, because I think that's what we're going to be doing, friends. It starts with a very, very specific vibe. Kind of like, it's a Monster of the Week, like, mini horror show. Like, each episode is its own self-contained little different style. And it's got a real, like, grounded, down-to-earth, like, people fighting monsters vibe. And by the end of it, it is all of good and all of evil and all of creation doing battle. Also, let's be honest, at least one of them is dating Cass. Oh, nice. Wait, Lizzie, for early seasons recognizing, did you mean for Buffy or for Supernatural? Scotty said they did a Buffy rewatch when they first got Amazon Prime. Oh. I made it through about like an episode and a half, and I just like... Xander kind of turned my stomach in a way that... Yeah. There's a lot of 2000s, like, late 90s characters that just need to be wiped out. Like, no hate to the actor, but, like, I'm pretty sure, like, if we could just take Xander, Ross from Friends, Ted from How I Met Your Mother, just put them on a rocket and just fire them into the sun. Neo Shido says that description makes Supernatural sound like Shin Megami Tensei. That would be cool as fuck. Lizzie says Xander's actor is not great. You know what? I wondered why I didn't see him in anything after that. Kind of makes sense. But yeah, jumping back. I just cast jumping back, and then obviously missed one of those jumps because then my brain fell in the lake. Oh no! Supernatural's fascinating because its evolution throughout is it goes from becoming more and more of this like ridiculous, like super fantasy drama than anything else, and it's fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating. Now, some of the seasons are not great. But in every season, there's at least one or two episodes that are just phenomenal. The fourth wall break, one of the first times the fourth wall gets... And by fourth wall break, I mean literally the transition is them leaping through the wall towards you that breaks as they blast through it. Oh yeah, no, Lizzie, the meta episodes are great. I have seen the Scooby-Doo episode, but I was very drunk when I saw it, so that's partially one of the reasons why I want to go back and watch it, is I can't remember anything of it. Salem saying that Nicholas Brendan, who played Xander, did a bunch of stuff after Buffy before hitting the wall with alcohol problems. Oh, poor bugger. Okay. Sorry, friends, I shouldn't have read that silently in my head whilst sitting and talking to you. I'm a bad host today. And Sorry, so Angel Kalima says they don't think they've seen Buffy or Angel, and they feel they missed a chunk of media during a period. And it's like, we're in a better place now. We make better shows. Like, we have a better grasp on nerd culture. And while obviously the toxic elements are still there, we're far more aware of them. Like, in a strange way, like, Joss Whedon's Rise and Fall could basically be charted as, like, you know, the birth and death of nerd culture. Okay, when I say the birth and death of nerd culture, what I mean is that nerdery is no longer seen as a subculture. Like, you can go hard on pieces within nerd culture, but it's just part of culture now. You know, superhero movies aren't a subset, they're the main fucking stage. Video games aren't a side hobby. They are a thing that everybody does. You can take certain bits in. Oh no! Sorry. You can go hard into certain parts of video games, but What's a Clank? It seems to be it's not about the place, it's the degree, right? Like, since we basically have entered this, like, hyper-tribal culture, it doesn't matter what your focal points is and hyper-interests are, you can find a tribe for that, you know? Hell, you just have to look around the Longship as a whole and see, like, everybody has their different, like, spaces, you know, compare, like, if you stick your face in the Magic the Gathering slot or in No Grey November, like, people go hard. I think it's the length to which people take certain things. But but Lizzie, thank you for the heads up on the supernatural music, because that will be very surreal. I can't imagine that final scene without Bad Moon on the Rise. And like Scotty, yeah, for those of us that, because I know I'm a nerd gen below yourself, but for those of us who went through video games and nerdery being a strange block subset that was over here, like, it's a weird feeling to have that idea of, like, nerd culture is not really nerd culture anymore. They're diluted now amongst the general blob of this, like, digital tribalism that we're living with, which I don't think is a bad thing. You know, being an anime fan is no longer a defining thing. It is not something you have to go out and source. Just, it exists. People watch anime now. It's part of culture. Now, I'm sure there are counterculture movements, but if I had to guess, I'd say that those will be movements that are completely offline, completely disconnected from the digital blob, thus making them incredibly hard to know about. Oh. This fucking playlist. You know, I'm just gonna skip straight to some bangers. There we go. Verdenflow. I'm part of counterculture. I'm a blue player who has got a counterspell on hand. But, like, being a big fan of Magic the Gathering is no longer a thing that will see you, you know, receive derision. You know, bloody Post Malone just spent millions buying a Magic the Gathering card. Now, there's a greater discussion about what does and doesn't consist of, like, the main mimetic blob of culture right now. And, like, generational culture is now a lot stranger. You'd need to talk to someone that understands, like, human sociology far better than I. Because I can only really comment in the video game sphere. But... I forget where I was going with all of this. Oh! There we go. Sorry, I had to come back to it. It was discussing Joss Whedon's kind of like rise to power and rise to prevalence, and all the bad shit that he did was very endemic of like this this hyper shot in the arm that nerd culture got. It's really hard reading, but he did an interview with, I think it was Vice, I want to say, and he basically just ends up saying all the things, all the bad things we thought of him out loud. But what's interesting is, like, how he was suddenly given this huge boost of, like, you know, power over others, and it turned him into a scumbag. Like, sorry. Jumping back. What I was trying to say is that you didn't miss anything by missing those shows. We have better shows now. We have a better grasp on characters and people and how things come together. It was a very strange time to be in those spaces, especially considering that if you didn't see them on a particular day, if you missed an episode, you missed a whole chunk of the Ruddy story. Andorf, I'm doing good. I think I'm basically the conversational equivalent of Super Wavy Davy mode right now. Last night I finally got to see Less Than Jake live, and it was really good, but despite actually getting some sleep and stuff, like, my mental faculties are gone. Oh yeah, and no, Lizzie, you're entirely right. You can still watch those shows. You know what, Phyllis? I think that's a very good point. Phyllis was saying that, like, toxic nerdery did come out of, like, a victim mentality. For a long time, being into nerdery was something you'd get the piss ripped out of you for. It was considered a bad thing. That's probably where, like, convention culture really flourished, because rather than, you know, having to deal with derision, we would all band together and be like, oh shit, you like Star Wars? I like Star Wars. You know? I mean, shit. Clank, a whole bunch of things all happened at once. We went through a recession, and one of the few spheres that was still making money was nerdery. And superhero films, video games, comic book, well, not so much comic books, they've always struggled to make a buck, but board games and things like that all just kept succeeding. There was no real one golden bullet moment, but if you wanted to point to a moment, if you wanted to point to a pivotal moment, Iron Man with Robert Downey Jr., like, making more money than sin, blowing everything else out of the water. Oh yeah, no, Angel Colina. Absolutely. Angel Colina was saying, like, conventions help them to not feel alone. Yo, there's a reason why PAX puts out a sign that just says, welcome home. You know? My friend used to say that PAX isn't the anomaly. PAX is how it should be. You know, everybody together, sharing their passions and their loves. It's the rest of the time the world is loopy. And now it's become a thing, you know? You know, we all live in a capitalist hellscape, and so, like, fiscal power definitely contributes to culture, you know?
Star Wars makes money. Disney makes money. Marvel, well, okay, now they're all one big lump, but those spheres, they make cash, which puts them front and center. Video games make money. I mean, and yeah, we sit in a weird little space in our own little kind of like digital tribe where we are video game fanatics, but we also spend a large amount of time with we can throw those. Sorry, that record scratch there was my brain. You know what, Fearless, that's a really good way of putting it. As I don't know if you all heard, my brain tried to do a little handbrake turn there and slammed into a wall. But yeah, that's a really good way of phrasing it. PAX wasn't a case of like cultivating a convention community. The community existed and PAX became the focal point. That's why it's kind of existed beyond Penny Arcade. You know, even in these times of like mainstream nerdery and otherwise, there's still something special about being together with your tribe, and it's really fucking cool. And honestly, like, we don't need to dwell too hard on the Whedon era of the past, but it is fascinating to think about that transition. One is no longer defined by being in nerdery. And actually, one of the interesting things has been, as a small like psychological study, is nerdcore music. Nerdcore being essentially its own micro-genre that never died. Like, musicians like Mega Ran and Frontalot and the Bit Brigade and peeps like that, they've never stopped being good. Like, they've never stopped putting out great music. But they were defined by being musicians in a nerdy space. But their nerdery became everything, so they were just musicians. I find that fascinating, because it's not the case that a genre changed, it's that culture changed, and the defining feature became something that's a part of every day. And okay, that is a great stage name. And Jam, I mean, I'd say, like, right now, as I said, we're in this era of, like, digital tribalism, you know, where the goal is find your tribe, find your people. And, you know, I hope I don't sound like an arrogant dingleberry, but it's what I feel like we found here, you know? The Longship isn't built around one thing. We're not built around a personality. Okay, I understand. I'm the host and I make loud noises with my face, but I'm the flag. It's my job to bring people together. But I'm not an influencer. I'm not a personality, you know? I'm not trying to sell people goop water or lessons on how to be a pisshead. Which really could, actually. That would be very funny. I've often considered doing a counter movement to a lot of the lifestyle coaches that you see on social media. Welcome to the Will Lifestyle Coach. Today I'll be teaching you just how to have a good day. Don't even worry about it. Did you sit in your pants and play Switch all day? Go you. Fucking great. Let's do it. But jumping back. If we use the microcosm that is the Longship as an example, we're not based around one game, we're not based around one intellectual IP, we're not fans of... I don't know why Jay and Silent Bob was the first thing that popped into my head there, but... Well, Clank, now you have the name of your stage play, One Woman Riot. And you know I'd never pull that bollocks. Like, here's the thing. Anybody who's selling you, like, how to be, the only person they're fooling is themselves. You know? And honestly, the only person that you should really listen to on life advice is someone who's failed a lot. Those are the only lessons really worth avoiding. And that I have in spades. So I guess I am kind of patting myself on the back here. Because, let me tell you, some people have failed, but few have failed as hard as I have. Jam says, let's riot anyway. We'll do it as a team-building exercise. But no, so my point being is that we have all managed to find each other digitally and carve out a little digital space for us. And that's become kind of the... I don't want to say the nerdery, but that's become the... Oh, lovely. Lizzie, is that taking place directly after the last season of Mando? Because I still haven't watched new Mando. But I totally have a legit way of watching Disney stuff, so... Also, Scotty, people can skip the old Battlestar Galactica movie because that shit was haunting. But anyway, I guess I'm kind of like, I'm getting a bit wavy-davy on the conversation topic here, but the TLDR is that, like, we've moved past a point of just being based around, like, super IPs and things like that. It is entirely possible for you to find friends digitally and form, like, a little squad, and I'm really happy that that's the phase that we're in, you know? Like, all things ebb and flow. Nerdery will not be the big moneymaker forever. Who knows how things will change in the future. I'm okay with enjoying this like golden age of video games we have right now, and if that swaps and changes in the future, then it swaps and changes in the future. You know? I'm Angel Cleaner, like love to you as well. Like we're always gonna have our little corner, as long as you like keep me around anyway. Well, Scotty, there are the vibes here are immaculate, but apparently I'm just a fucking potato today. Here I am being like, for as long as you lot will have me, and then I'm just like stare out into the middle distance, drooling down my face. But it is so fascinating growing up in an environment where like sports were the dominant moneymaker, like sports were the dominant focal power, and now us over here in our video game loving world, we're now the dominant power, like economically. It's wild. It's really wild. Like, I'm not saying that sports don't make cash, but like comparably video games can make more, you know? And it's a fascinating time to be alive, friend. And the other thing that I really enjoy is at the same time that we're in this golden age of, like, video games and nerdery, we've also gained, like, digital distribution and stuff like that. So, like, the actual acquisition of these wonderful games isn't cliquey in the slightest, you know? Right now, the only challenge is, like, finding out about these games, knowing about them, you know? And that's where idiots like me come in. That's also why I pride myself in being a bit of a video game sommelier. Oh, excuse me. Oh, I love them coffee burps. And you know what's significant? Sometimes potato and vibes is not a bad way to be. Yeah, Lizzie, yeah, communication is the challenge. And it gives us
at least an interesting place to be. Anyway, it makes me real happy, friends. It makes me real happy. Like, the fact that we're going to see a reworking of Armored Core this week. The fact that, you know, one of the biggest games of the summer is Baldur's Gate. Like, obviously, games like, you know, PUBG Mobile and Call of Duty and stuff like that will make more cash. But, like, in terms of cultural impact, at least in the spheres that we all hang out, it's all about the vampire fuckers. It's giant robots and sexy vampires. And that's great. Like, it's not 8 different crew-cut white guys with gravelly voices that, oh, they've got to disarm the nuclear missile bomb. Nah, it's great. MDH, feckin' yo, congrats. J-Post, yeah, it's Monsters and Bears. Monsters and Bears. God, we've got a spiritual sequel to Jet Set Radio, which we're listening to the tracks now. They slap. Also, very happy that Too Mellow is on the soundtrack as well. I wish they'd been able to steal Hideki Naganuma for more tracks, but still makes me real happy that it's on there. Honestly, Lizzie, I don't think Will of 10 years ago would have believed we'd get a good D&D movie. Now, the movie we deserve is still the Muppet D&D movie, where it's the Muppets playing D&D and their characters are real actors. That's the movie we deserve. But, yeah, Dungeons & Dragons, what is it, Honor Among Thieves, is fucking brilliant. It's weird to hear it didn't do better at the box office. Because, at least from what I saw, there was the whole thing of, like, they were selling out of those popcorn buckets. But like, all I'd say is, like, it was a genuinely brilliantly funny film. I mean, grand take, I wouldn't be against it. But that, wow! Once again, another thought. Doing a high dive off the top rope and lost into the oblivion. Whatever it was I was about to say, friends, gone. Toast. Ash. Like, sand on the wind. Feckin' yo. Feckin' yo. Oh. I mean, Angel Kalina, I can't complain. I did this to me. Like, I did this to me. It is my brain that I melted because it was my first time seeing Less Than Jake live. They're a band that have been very important to me, and I hit the pit. Yeah, Jan, we definitely should have written down that error code. Well, so MDH, that's what's so wild about it, is like, we have to remember our shamanistic knowledge, because the two things we're hearing about right now is a handful of super successes and a lot of companies like dissolving and being let go. What we're not hearing about is the people who are surviving, the people who are working on their titles but not ready to announce. I mean, this year has sucked for funding, and Embracer Group. The Embracer Group nonsense is definitely something being felt across the industry. But a lot of the big layoffs have been the big publicly traded companies who are kind of part of this whole, you know, we're seeing an economic downturn because we said we'd see an economic downturn scenario. Which makes the whole situation rather fascinating. But, you know, if you look at how, like, fresh the indie scene has been this year, like, it's not awful. It's not great. It's not great. A lot of large companies let a lot of people go, but it's not death nailed. God, I still can't believe we're getting Alan Wake in just a handful of weeks. Okay, friendos, I am going to roll credits and raid into one of our friends, because you can see, like, I just mentally blue screened. And it's not the first time I've done that in front of you all, but it's brain exhaustion. So, I'm glad we got to have a look at Betrayer. I am going to put in a little bit more research time and try and find out what happened to that studio. And I'm just going to let my little noggin rest tonight, so I probably won't be on Discord. But it's been lovely chatting with you all, friends. It's been a lovely day. And, like, even though we only played a little bit, like, Betrayer's art style is absolutely worth paying attention to. Like, it is legit inspired. And you could weaponize it very, very easily to make them video games pop. Okay. So, whilst I roll credits and say thank yous, these will be the choices of where you can go after. I've got Art, I've got Hunt Showdown, and I've got Palia. So that is Hunt Showdown, Art, or Palia. So have a ponder. But, friends, I hope I tell you this on the daily. I really hope I tell you this on the daily. I love our little corner of the internet, and I do love spending time with all of you lot, you know. As I said, I'm not a guy. I'm just a guy. And the fact that you lot put in, like, genuine time and money to keeping this place afloat, meaning that I can do this for realsies, is the fucking best. Thank you. To the Chaos Dragon, thank you for the raid and the friendship. I hope we get to see each other some more. Orion Pirate, celebrating, I believe, 4 months. Favor 6, throwing dollars at my face to mock me. And Gear Graphic, PVS, Akira Zero, Wolfcrad, Erriman, Favor 6, Fearless Sun, Bacon Avenger, Vanderbeast, and J-Post. All throwing bits to keep this whole operation kicking. Just fucking great of you. Thank you. To Keith Fiend and Lizard Purr. I seem to be having some problems. Thank you to the entire mod team, and to Chaos of Dragons again. Thank you for bringing us a whole fucking good old time. Alright, Dustin and Angel... No! Terror. So, I do not remember where we met Sylviette in the past. I want to say it was a sober, or they raided us. And Dustin, I'm hoping to get that sorted, if not, like, either before or after PAX. Okay, so I do not remember where I met this person, because I'm just getting file not found. But they are on my follow list, which means I either met them at Sober, or I know them from somewhere. And they're currently playing Palia, which has been the quiet success story throughout this year.
It's so fascinating how well Palia's doing, and yet it's not getting any coverage. But that's another story. So I'm going to pass you over to their lovely selves, and you can go have a look for yourself. I believe Palia is still, what is it, like free with a friendo invite? But it's pretty easy to see why it's doing well. Right, friends, thank you for putting up with me being a drifty potato. Thank you for just being the best bunch of buggers a person can ask to hang out with, you know? And whatever you do with the rest of your evening, I hope it is splendid. So yeah. Yeah. Right, let's go spread the love. But for this one, I do want full-on raid nonsense. Like, I want those little Viking friendos everywhere. Don't even worry about raid calls. Just an army of Viking friendos. All right. See them? You see them? These are the little guys. We're sending them in. All right. Have yourself a lovely rest of your evening. I'll see you tomorrow for some Rain Worlds. Have a lovely night.